All right, today we're going to be talking about Donovan McNabb, ironically, and the comments that he said about Carson Wentz. And to me, the exact quote is, in the next 2 years or so, he has to find a way to get out of the second round of the playoffs. So that's essentially taking you to the NFC Championship game. The way I see this is he was probably asked a question, and he answered it. And, his job is to be a commentator at this point. And this is his opinion on Carson Wentz. So if you just take it at that face value, then that's fine. But if there's any kind of animosity or jealousy towards the fans and how they treat Carson Wentz, and he's kind of a beloved figure at this point, even though Donovan McNabb has accomplished technically more because Carson Wentz wasn't a starter in the Super Bowl. I don't agree with these comments personally. Even though I don't hate Donovan McNabb for saying them, he was probably asked a question and he answered it truthfully. So I can get down with that, actually. So the biggest thing as I take away from it is he's right and wrong. They do need to draft a quarterback because there's a old saying that says if you have one, you have none. If you have one, you have two. So if Carson Wentz goes down for any reason, and he's had a history of doing it, and with his style of play, then I think they need to draft a quarterback. And, do third round and later, so that there's no real competition where Carson Wentz thinks he has to earn his job. But there should be a little bit of a push in camps or in that regard. The craziest thing to me is that some Eagles fans are just fine with having Nate Sudfeld. I wouldn't be confident having Nate Sudfeld mow my lawn, to be honest with you. He just seems like a body essentially, and it really is what the old backup quarterback was. And as we can see, that's not enough, especially with Carson Wentz's injury history and the way he plays. The one thing I don't like about these comments is Donovan McNabb has to know what he kind of is to the fans. A lot of people remember him as the puking in the Super Bowl, or couldn't win the big game, or there's not positive feelings there. And so, he has to kind of be conscious of that. And, maybe he knew he was going to get into the news Philadelphia cycle with this, but I think he needs to be worried about this. And this is my favorite player. Like he's the reason why I like the Eagles. So maybe that's why I'm cutting a little bit of slack. But it seems like people are misconstruing what he's saying with the Instagram posts that I've seen, and numerous outlets reporting what he said. I really just think it was him responding to a question, and really we do need to be concerned about Carson Wentz because we're hinging our entire future on him. And so, with Nick Foles moving on. So I would love to hear about what you have to think about the comments. Am I giving Donovan McNabb a pass because, he's my favorite player? What do you think about Carson Wentz's future? Should we draft a quarterback? Where should we draft him? Obviously, I don't think a lot of Eagles fans would say first or second round, but I do think that we need to be smart about the decisions we make with the quarterback position. And the biggest thing, too, is what I would say is go get a veteran quarterback, someone like an RG3 or who has experience, could fit into the offense, and will be pressuring with competition, but not unseating Carson Wentz's throne as the starter for the Philadelphia Eagles. So, love to hear about what you think. And do you hate Donovan McNabb? A lot of fans have moved on from him pretty quickly, but I have kind of a special spot for him because he brought me to the Eagles. So let me hear what you think, and comment and subscribe.